Hey, so this video is going to be about Barak Lurie's new book called Atheism Kills. Um, I am going to actually be doing a whole series of videos on this book. This is just the intro one, and I've only read chapters 1 through 4 of the book, so I couldn't do a full analysis on it now, even if I wanted to. But I just actually came across the advertisement for this book just recently, even though it's been out since 2017. And since I've learned about it, and especially learned that Dennis Prager and Ben Shapiro were behind, or were at least endorsed it, I've decided this is something that I need to dedicate some time and energy in my life into both reading and dissecting. And I'm going to be making videos and explaining what is and is not right about this book, because this is a very important theme that I think many other atheists do not acknowledge to an adequate extent as they should, because this is one of the most commonly used arguments against atheists is any death that can be attributed to by an atheist leader, or any leader who had views similar to an atheist, and it's very often used as a tactic really against atheists in terms of just trying to show, show that atheists can commit atrocities or something. But from the very start, the argument is flawed because, which is why a lot of atheists won't address it, because they say, well, of course that doesn't make sense. They could then address any crime done by a Christian or a Muslim or any, leader throughout the last several thousand or 2,000 years, and you're going to come across, just as many, if not far, far more. But Barak Lurie, of course, when Christians, usually pick examples of atheist atrocities, they usually pick communists, and that's, most communists were atheists. Barak Lurie actually takes it a step further in his book, though, and then he tries to say that the fascist crimes were also attributed to atheism, and included in that, of course, Hitler, of course, since Nazism is a form of fascism. And that, I can tell you, is just factually false. Okay, now there's some debate as to the ties between Christianity and fascism, or atheism and fascism, because they were not purely religious movements at all. However, to say that atheism was the foundation on them, that's not a hard one to dispel. That'd be no different than me saying Christianity was the foundation of communism. It's just ludicrous. So, I'm going to be tackling that one when I get to that part of the book. But for now, I'm just doing an intro video on the book, and then I'll cover the more specific themes later as I get into it. I have sped read through chapters 1 through 4, and they were interesting. He goes into a lot of numbers on some of the different communist regimes, and a few things I did learn from reading it, just on some of the specifics on how Stalin's casualties were calculated. And right now he's going into some of the things on Fidel Castro's regime, which is where I last left off, and it's pretty interesting in that sense. The very start of the book was immensely disappointing, in the sense that it was basically just watching a PragerU video. He just went into how, the Western world is crumbling, and, if we don't resort back to some kind of Christian nationalism or something, China and the Islamic republics in the Middle East are going to take over. And I don't really fully understand that way of thinking, though. If atheism is what's weakening us here in the States, as he called us in it, he said we're all just, sipping our vanilla lattes, and we're, just lightweight liberals. But then, he claims that China's taking over, which is a communist atheist country. So doesn't that kind of run contrary, those two themes? So it seems like, wouldn't China be just so weak, since they're run by nothing but atheists, that they couldn't stand up to anybody? I don't know. Of course, it's just a nonsensical argument used. But point overall of it is, though, but, the more serious question as he gets into it is he starts going into some things of the French Revolution, some of the communist revolutions, and some of the acts committed by people who were either atheists or who he claims were atheists in it. And I can't go all of it in this video. I'm going to be making many, many follow-up videos on this. However, I can just address, one final thing on the overall theme of this. Very often, person's religious views, whenever you look throughout history, they're usually pretty complicated, be they Christian or atheist. It's usually kind of hard to know exactly for certain. And especially with a lot of these people that people will call atheists, they will oversimplify it. Like just taking one, for instance, even though I'll get into this later, Hitler's religious views. Hitler's religious views were, a little bit hard to pin down, since he was basically just apathetic. I mean, I would concede that any second of any day. You know, he was an apathetic Christian if he was one. But everything I've read from reading Mein Kampf and biographies on me leads me to believe that he was a cultural Christian in the sense that he thought it was good for society, but not really something he cared about a whole lot in his personal life. Of course, was Christianity the foundation for Nazism? Well, of course not. But of course, no atheist is desperate enough to actually try to make that argument that the crimes committed by different regimes are directly attributable to their religious views. Of course, that's what, of course, this book does tackle, though, which is why I'm going to be getting into it in depth and detail in my other videos. But for now, all I just wanted to do is follow up by kind of establishing, the principle of what this book is about, which I hope I did adequately, and also just, establishing why I'm making this argument against it. It's not so much to prove that I think that Christianity or any religion caused these atrocities any more than atheism did, but I am trying to absolve atheism of this charge. A, that all of the crimes committed by communists are directly attributable to atheists, and B, that some certain names that he's already mentioned in there, such as fascists, as well as a few of the French revolutionaries, which I can't get into now, but as you can see from my Napoleon painting I have over here that I still haven't hung up. I have a bunch of Napoleon paintings, so that's why I don't have all of them hung up. There's, actually some of the French revolutionaries were not all purely as atheistic as you might think. Some were some were pure like anti-theists. I wouldn't deny that some of them were, but again, it gets pretty complicated. I can't go into it all. I'm going to make a lot of sub videos based off this. So I hope that interested both Christians and atheists alike who are watching this. I expect many will disagree with what I say, but hopefully I'll be able to do a good job of refuting and, reviewing his book. So thanks for watching and see you next time. Bye.